Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love, love. 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 Got lots of love, love.
find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll! White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga 4 is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio. That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
What's good, y'all? It's CGL playoff action time once again. It's round 4. Today we got a matchup for you. It's SCR Ascendants versus T4T. I am Gedster for my first cast back since returning from Stockholm, and joining me is the guy I stayed with in Stockholm, Spectrion Cast. How you doing, my friend?
That kind of makes it sound like we're dating. It's a bit strange. I'm the only guy you stayed with? I mean, really? Nah, listen.
Well, there was also there were 3 other guys, but who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. No, welcome here to the EU Master Division. We're here for the losers final matchup. This one for a chance to reach Brigged Up in the grand finals and attempt to win the division. SCR Ascendants dropped down here with a loss to DY Spectre so early in, and have made the lower bracket run throughout the tournament, whereas T4T lost their most recent game against Brigged Up in a 3-0 fashion, so they're looking for a attempt number 2 at the King's Head. Either way, that next matchup going to be an uphill battle, but they can't miss the forest for the trees and, you know, focus on those grand finals when these losers matchup's the one that really matters this day.
Yeah, it's a dangerous bracket to have been a part of. Obviously, as you pointed out, Ascendants got sent down to losers by Spectre, making a crazy run, including in losers round 3, beating Spectre in 5 maps, and now having to go through T4T, a team that they haven't faced in this playoff bracket quite yet, in order to make it all the way to the grand finals. Interestingly, Brigged Up has not dropped the map in this playoff bracket quite yet, and I mean, they're feeling pretty good about that, obviously, since they're in grand finals, but they also haven't played against SCR Ascendants yet. So, maybe they're looking at this match and they're going, yeah, we're kind of hoping that T4T ends up taking this one away, because we just swept them, and surely, if we did it once, we can do it again.
One would imagine that that team's feeling particularly comfortable about it. We can only wait and see how it plays out in the game. Obviously, first map we have locked in. That's the way CGL players often beat Lijiang Tower, where we start. And I can't lie, I've already played this map in tournament play twice this weekend, so I'm a little bit sick of it. But yeah, no, it's an incredibly fun map to watch. There's a reason it's so popular. It's because it just works, right? It just works. Yeah. After that, losers pick all the way through. Obviously, first to 5 series, so you don't get all the runway in the world, but you've got a decent amount of time to really show your mettle.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it speaks to Lijiang Tower's quality as a map that we have so many good control maps, and yet this is still by far the most popular one, right? Like, everyone loves Ilios, everyone loves Lijiang. Those are like the 2 universal...
Ilios is unfortunately not universally loved, but it is
well,
very good.
It should be universally loved, because it is the best one. I'm gonna come out right now and say
I would agree with that.
It's the best control map.
It's my favorite map in the game to play a lot of the time, especially when you're on like Lighthouse? I love Lighthouse. That's crazy. T4T, coming from the upper bracket, will have the first ban and map pick. Obviously, you've seen Lijiang locked in already. As for the ban, in this current economy, curious to see what they target. Hit scans, very strong and organized play. If they get resources, cleanse, defense matrix, etc., they can really find high value with that high burst damage. But obviously, Sim, we saw plenty of in some Metro common tanks being, or in Stockholm, rather. Long day.
Yep.
Tanks being Diva and Ramacha for the most part. Supports Kiri Lucio. So we're expecting a ban along one of those lines. A break ban. Interesting. I mean, shuts down a lot of dive options. Obviously, forces essentially a Kiri Lucio backline to be played. And also, a support protect, meaning if you wanted to, for example, play a Wu Yang, that is locked in for the Helios.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of the Brig it does make a lot of sense if you're very comfortable on these, as you were saying, Lucio Kiri backlines that have had a little bit of a resurgence in recent patch. Obviously, around when Kiriko came out, that was a very popular choice, but ever since then, the support cast has grown a little bit. Characters have been adjusted, things have changed up, but at Stockholm, we saw a lot of that particular backline composition, and it will be on the table for map number 1 here. I'm very curious to see what SCR end up banning here. Obviously, as goes by the rules, we will not be seeing a second support ban on this map, so it does have to be a DPS or a tank, and it will be the Venture, interestingly enough.
Venture is definitely interesting, more than enough, in fact, because the hero, it's not that strong. They're not bad, sure, but like, I don't think they're particularly crazy right now. I don't think it's even a response to the break ban, where Break's not that great at defending into Venture. Venture is not particularly powerful in Legion Tower, so these both do seem like target bans to me, where you know your opponent's hero pool, you're targeting that rather than a composition or a style which you, as a unit, don't like so much. So I think it does make sense. But we'll really have to see what these teams have in mind once we get into the lobby.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what compositions we end up seeing initially from both of these squads, because it could be pretty indicative of what we see for the rest of the series. But for now, the lineups, SCR Ascendants going to be rolling out with Eric, Marlon, Cord, Milo, and Pixums. So solid lineup here. Obviously, they've made it this far through a ridiculously long and brutal losers bracket run. And this is going to be one of the more difficult tests against a team that, again, they haven't played in this playoff bracket.
And a team who's looks incredibly scary in this playoff bracket as well. It's going to be T4T. And we'll be seeing them right now. Of course, Nen, Panicism, Rose, Tommy, and Caffeine are going to be the team you're up against. You'll note Panicism, the one with the Venture Hover, and the one banned out. Also, I think, for me, the player you want to watch out for in the meantime. So, see what they're able to get done when they're in the lobby, because they could be the danger man, so to speak, the one to knock SCR Ascendants out of the tournament.
It is very possible. I am now a little bit. I am now wondering. The support player here on T4T. I have a friend who spells his name exactly like that, but it's pronounced Tommy, and you said Tommy, and now I'm confused, and now I need to know. I need to know which one it is.
I'll check the sheet. Check the same as Tommy. So,
okay, so this one's Tommy.
Yeah.
All right.
They're finished,
Excellent.
apparently.
How about that? How about that? I've not met a lot of Finns before. The few that I have met, delightful individuals. Big fan.
I have no comment here.
Yeah.
I'm actually banned from Finland.
Oh,
Trust.
yeah. Dude, I forgot about that. We talked about that. You are, dude. You did get banned from Finland.
I did get banned from Finland.
You insulted one too many Finns while you were in Stockholm
purely for the love of the game.
Purely for the love of the game, entirely
Naturally.
because you enjoy being a hater. And
all I said was Linksa was not that good at Overwatch.
Interesting thing to get banned for.
Well, have you seen them? They're like Jerry Masalin. That's my guy.
Jerry. Linkser. Linkser was a very fun player to watch. I do miss him. Fun fact,
that's
he's in
it.
Apex. He's in Apex these days, and
Yeah.
he had a really close run to get to the ALGS Open at the beginning of the year, but he just barely missed out, and I was really sad about that.
I don't know what that means. What I do know, however, we're loading in to the map finally. Don't have to look at
Let's
the
go.
the match out the screen anymore. Lijiang Tower going to be starting here on, I believe, Control Center. As I am indeed vindicated. I can't lie, I spent so long looking at this spawn room. It just feels like home to me now, you know? It feels like a second bedroom. It's messed up.
Dude, we need to get these ships like properly built so that I can live in them.
That would be fire, though.
Dude,
They also just like
flying
fly.
around the world.
Exactly.
Flying around the world.
'Cause
Balling.
really, you don't this big ass like hangar area. It doesn't do anything. You could make like
Yeah.
a decently sized house in it.
That's very true.
It would be like up,
Very
but
true.
like you're capable of like breaking the sound barrier. Listen, let's talk about composition for a second. T4T are on one of the comps of all time. I'd be very surprised if they actually ran out on it, but as the clock ticks lower and lower, it seems more and more possible. Nope, they're just baiting. You're very
They
rude.
were baiting.
Sim Cass. Sim only for a temporary TP, so Reaper Cass, very standard. Some of these heroes have been since nerf, but you just enable your DPS with those bubbles. SCR Ascendants need to play for extended shooting with their Genji, with their Soj, because eventually they will find value. Eric, the one who needs to frag.
Yeah, very dependent on that Sojourn hitting railgun shots. A very meaty dash for the Genji there. It's going to deal a lot of damage, but Marlon's the one who takes a big chunk first. Point gets unlocked. Still nobody falling quite yet in this fight. The first capture should go the way of T4T. No, eventually the Genji will walk onto the point and stop the contest from happening. But T4T does end up getting the first amount of percentage rolling eventually. A lot of players on the side of SCR very low at this point, though. Bonker and Marlon both in danger of falling, and eventually it will be the tank to go down first. Good shots from Nen so far. A whole lot of damage being pumped out. 73% to that Deadeye.
Yeah, pretty sloppy, unfortunately, from SCR Ascendants already. Making
my God.
changes. Marlon's way too aggro with that dash to start things off and put SCR on the back foot. Eric can't go down here, has to attack. I mean, Bonker tries to hard walk with the form, but there's no support from his team, so just loses a bunch of HP. Has to wait from the stable from Pixons. T4T, control of the choke, high amounts of energy on their Zar, and a good amount of momentum on their side.
And the Deadeye in the pocket, already having been charged up. And I think it was the Tracer to go back onto the point there and put some pressure, but eventually the pressure will go through and Caffeine will crumble under it. Losing out on the Kiriko, not a great start to a fight. On the bright side for T4T, even if they give up this point, which it looks like they're not willing to do quite yet,
What?
they do have ultimates to work with. Eric goes a little bit too high and falls to Nen's Deadeye, and I mean, they just continue to hit beautiful shots here. Marlon also falling down. Bonker. Oh my
Nen.
goodness, Nen!
Getting
Nasty
every kill you
stuff.
need, apparently. Huge frags. You're able to clutch out the fight with only a Deadeye. Due to, realistically, a crazy overpeak from Eric. No reason to be jumping up in front of that mouthful style. But hey, eats the shot and ends up getting punished because of that. SCR Ascendants. One last attempt at a grab in the choke could spell curtains for their attempts here on Control Center.
And SCR doesn't even have a beat to stop this one quite yet. There's no real way for Milo to mitigate this beat. Mitigate the grab, excuse me. Eventually the Tracer does go down. Beat is available for Milo, but it's not going to be enough. They don't even get to touch the point. T4T dominant here on Control Center.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a pretty sloppy start from SCR Ascendants. They're going to have to lock in pretty fast. I mean, we see their final fight, Marlon in position to try and get OT started, and then 1% before you can get OT started, hard commits to a fight against the Cassidy close range. That's just going to kill you. That's just going to kill you. It's a nice kill if you can get it, right? But it's not happening. But like, again, Eric, what are we doing there? What's the point? Why are we just elevating ourselves in front of a Deadeye? That's such a shame, because remember, you get that pick onto the Kiriko. There's no sustain available. You should just be able to hard walk, wait for the Zar to burn her bubbles, then just win the fight. But instead, we go a little bit too fast. We don't wait out the Deadeye. We get heavily punished for it. And Caffeine, the only person to die. Remember, that was off the pick.
Once.
Off the back of a rail pick from Eric. SCR Ascendants
One
going
time.
to need a little bit more. Tommy's
Ooh,
1 HP.
Tommy.
hell.
Tommy very nearly going down at the very beginning of that fight. That could have been disastrous, but manages to stay alive for now. Eric, though, falling very low at this point in the fight, unfortunately will not be able to get away, and Panarchism on this Reaper just going to be holding WM1. 2 players fall to the Reaper, and another 2 by the hand of the Cowboy. And once again, T4T with a very easy early pick.
It feels like SCR Ascendants don't really know why they're losing these fights, because the heroes they're going towards, I think, don't quite solve their problems. Cassidy here, I guess a little bit more consistent than the Sojin, but in exchange, you're such a target, and we see that exploited in that first fight. In that position, Soj fine. Eric, obviously not so much. Went from pushing up the daisies pretty fast. Now, T4T in control of the point, playing an extended fight like SCR Ascendants want, but that's just going to give T4T more time to improve percentage.
Onto the point here, very fast attack for the side of SCR Ascendants. They had a target they were diving. Unfortunately, they just can't collapse on it quickly enough, and they lose out on the tank player of Bonker once again. And so just have to play this one so much more patient, back off, and allow the potential for more players to come in. But Nen, dude, he's just continuing to hit these shots.
I mean, SCR Ascendants failed their entire fight plan around pressuring the Zarya, but for some reason they decide to hard into Lazar with both bubbles. So she uses both bubbles to pull back to a decent position. By that time, SCR Ascendants have lost a lot of their momentum, and the now high charge Zarya simply beams them all down. I mean, Marlon, super late trying to pick the Cassidy, but that's not a well-favored matchup for you. And all it does is stag you out yet longer. Your team can't fight yet more. And so at 70% after only 2 fights, SCR Ascendants rapidly running out of roads.
Yeah, not a lot of space to work with at this point. Deadeye goes out here from both Cassidys, but Nen is going to be the one to come out on top once again. 75% in building now, and I mean, this has just been a slaughter. Not much else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. SCR Ascendants running out of ideas very quickly. They have the Wrecking Bolt for a touch, and that should allow overtime, unless Tommy's there with a boop. T4T, Blossom, beat. I mean, that's more than enough to close out this fight, one would imagine.
Yeah, you would absolutely think so. Ball gets back here, and with Marlon going down, two-player beat for the side of SCR, and a much better beat coming out from T4T. Losing Panarchism is, I mean, it sucks, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering that much, if I'm being entirely real with you. Bonker falls. And I'm not even sure anybody else has a touch here. So that is going to be a 200-0 map number 1 in favor of T4T.
That was pretty brutal. Unfortunately, I don't have too much to offer here in terms of deep analysis. I feel like I said everything I needed to during the game. SCR Ascendants aren't playing towards their composition's cons. They're giving up pretty sloppy over peaks. And because of that, they're just kind of getting reamed by T4T squad, who can hit their shots, who are a little bit more sound in terms of their execution, in terms of their macro. And they absolutely deserve this 200-0. It's not like any one player is a humongous problem. Obviously, Nen's hitting these shots, but realistically, even if Nen is performing, a bit more of a subpar level, I still think it's going to be T4T, the ones in the lead, just because the way they're approaching the game is so much more, thought out. Lack of a better phrase. Again, this engage we see here, you bleed out no cooldowns, you go for a hard walk with your form already, of course you're going to lose that. You're already down on cooldowns the moment you press that button. The Zarya is not, and they always going to win that long fight. So, SCR Ascendants, first map, first ban. I don't quite know what you go towards it, though.
I mean, at this point in the tournament, you've been in these situations before, I would assume. I mean, you literally lost your opening match at 0-3, but the team you did end up losing to, you beat in 5 later on when you ran into them again. So, I mean, again, not a situation that SCR is unfamiliar with. It's just a matter of how you can, mentally come back from that one. That's a big thing in this game. Because the moment the mental starts to collapse in a multi-map series, it may as well be over just on the spot. So being sure that you're still grounded, you're still centered is crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not to constantly go back to my own matches, but I've played 2 best of 7s over the weekend. Both went to 7 maps, and I can tell you, The important thing is just
Damn.
keeping your eye on the prize, making it so every time you square up to the plate, you're confident that you'll be the ones to take home the dub every loss. So you can compartmentalize at the very least. So if you end up getting stuck in your own head, unfortunately, the game's kind of over before it's even begun. So for the hope of SCR, hopefully that hasn't happened yet, but we can only wait and see. I do hope they have somebody on the outside looking in, though, who can tell them, you know, what's going on, because it's very easy when you are playing these games to not have the same amount of consciousness about the way you're playing as you would from the outside looking in. It's very common to wander of your own games and be like, what the hell are we doing? Why would we ever think it's a good idea? And it's just having a sixth man so often can really help you out with that.
Absolutely. Complete and utter side note. I'm looking at the T4T team sheet here, and Caffeine is one of their substitute players. In her additional information section, it just says, I love fish.
Like eating fish?
I don't know. There's no information beyond the 3 words, I love fish.
Can we
And
get info from the lobby?
honestly, that's kind of real. That's kind of real of you.
I don't know. I need to buy some
like
fish
fish.
soon. Not for to eat, I should clarify. I want to practice making a bunch of fish sauces, so we'll see.
Gotcha.
I don't know. For those who don't, know me on a personal level, I've been getting into my cooking recently. I've been really enjoying it, but fish is something I haven't really braved yet. So
Fish is
we
very
shall
nice.
see. Fish is nice. I like eating fish. I just haven't tried cooking it
yeah,
yet.
true.
'Cause it feels a bit.
True.
Yeah.
What's your favorite
have to find
fish to eat?
I mean, I'm British, so just like fish and chips, mackerel, batter, deep fry it.
Cod, mackerel, yeah, that's fair.
I
When you
think,
come
I don't know why I
over-
said mackerel, it's cod. I'm just lying to you.
When you come over to the States, I will introduce you to some of my favorites. I'm a big fan of halibut, and despite being in like the northwestern United States and very far away from where they live naturally, I'm a big fan of mahi-mahi. Delicious. Tropical fish, delicious. Very easy to get in the Florida area from what I hear, but I've never been to Florida, so like...
Maybe we could meet in the middle in Florida, because I got some family in Florida. I really don't want to go to Spokane, Washington.
Well, you don't need to go to Spokane. We can go to Seattle. Spokane sucks. You know what doesn't suck? Suravasa. Suravasa will be our second battleground of the series. We've been talking about fish for 5 minutes. Let's talk about Overwatch again.
Yeah. Sur is a good map. It's a common map. I feel like this has to compare with a Zarya ban. Otherwise, you're just going to get a Zar Reaper again. I'm going to get that prediction out here right early. But no, Sura, I think pretty wide angles, pretty easy for ground tanks to maneuver as long as you do have a Lucio. So a Lucio ban, again, could be pretty strong. That would force your opponents to go into some either super static playstyle or like Brig Juno, which is just much harder. I think this is a very risky pick. Unless you're very, very certain about exactly how you're going to execute, I think you could be feeding your opponents some opportunities here to increase their lead to 2-0.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's kind of wild because over the last, like, how do I put this? Over the last few months of watching competitive play, I've realized that Flashpoint is kind of the great equalizer. This mode will make or break a lot of teams, but it is so common to see the second map be a Flashpoint map, and then if it still doesn't go your way, the third map ends up being like the payload map, and the payload maps are so varied in terms of like the play styles that they can offer. For example, you have something like a Dorado or a Watchpoint versus something like a Havana, like that offer completely different playstyles and such. Meanwhile, Suravasa, usually the map that gets picked over something like New Junk City or Atlas, this map could realistically go either way. Both bans are in. It's going to be Reaper and Juno out for the map here, and I am very curious to see what ends up getting played here, because obviously Reaper was attempted on the first map, but not played super prominently, if I recall correctly.
It was played mostly by T4T. You'll know. Again, Zarya Reaper was the composition, was stuck through the entire time.
Oh, you're right.
I don't understand this ban. because in my thought process, all T4T are going to do is they're going to have Panicism on Venture rather than Reaper, and they're going to play the exact same comp, but it's going to play the same way. It's like,
Yeah.
I understand there are differences in play between Reaper and Venture, and I'm sure SCR Ascendants have found that out the hard way. But I don't think the reason they were losing came down to the differences between Reaper and Venture. And so I think they are still going to very much struggle with the Zarya of Rose. I think she's still going to be an absolute force of nature.
Yeah, I mean, that Zarya was dangerous on the previous map. It basically completely locked you out of Control Center and then put in, I wouldn't say the same level of work on Garden, but it was still a very oppressive force for sure. Now going into this next one, I'm curious to see in particular what Nen rolls out on. He was kind of farming on the Cassidy on the previous map, but Cassidy obviously, I mean, you can do Cass here, but like,
yeah, you are right. It's probably more of a
Soj
Soj angle generally, but it's not like Cass is bad. I would probably
No, definitely not.
I would start Soj, and then if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can just like go back Cass.
Yeah.
Bull from Bonker obviously wouldn't be a bad pick. Would probably force the Cass swap, and even then, a talented Wrecking Ball player can survive and even thrive against a hero such as that. We'll be seeing our comps sooner rather than later as we begin to get ready to load in to the lobby. Again, I have to say my prediction is going to be T4T essentially sweep this, but I would love to be proven wrong.
Complete side note, I've just looked at the Twitch chat and Caffeine has clarified she loves eating fish.
Good. I was
Excellent.
kind of worried that you were like a marine biologist, and then I would feel kind of shown up. So,
Dude, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist. That sounded like the coolest job ever.
look at the fall off. Now you're casting CGL.
Now I'm casting CGL, man. Honestly, this is way cooler. This is way cooler. And frankly, I think that getting any sort of degree in marine biology would have led to like even fewer career opportunities than what I have right now. What the hell is this broadcast? Oh my goodness. We're just talking about fish and marine biology.
We can.
This is an Overwatch match.
Yeah, but like, it's not a little much to talk about at the moment. We're like emoting Spawn. T4T basing us like they're gonna play Lucio Ilari. No, you're not. Be grown-ups now. Nen's on the Torb, by the way. This is a semi-real thing. Torb is super strong. You can basically play as a Cassidy, but with a a turret instead of a flashbang, and very survivable. Remember, when you pop that overload, you're close to 400 HP. So SCR Ascendants gonna really struggle to pressure Nen. Nen just has to make sure not to get a little bit too overzealous with these side flanks.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nen, this turret is very easily spammed out by a couple of the characters on SCR. Bonker, Eric, and Marlon are all going to be able to take care of that thing with very little effort expended, just looking at general direction and at eyes. Unfortunately for Marlon, Tommy looks in the general direction, and the Echo's out of the picture. So right for the side of T4T. And Eric does get a nice trade onto Nen here, but I mean, the damage has already been done.
Yeah, and it's only going to continue to be excavated as Panicism gets stuck in. The Soj Rail presents a minor threat, but one that will be quickly dispatched. T4T, pretty easy first cap hit, no progress for SCR Ascendants. And whilst the comp of T4T is not pristine, it absolutely gets the job done. We're back with the hammer in hand, see if we find a hammer elimination, even on this point. Something I've seen only too much of this weekend.
Shades of cheeseburger.
Good God. I'm not very happy with that man right now, I'll put it that way.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Very aggressive push here coming out from T4T, and I mean, they can get away with it. Rose, so much damage with the Carnage. And I mean, that should just be the first point. SCR Ascendants, the only player left alive is Pixins, and I don't think they're going to be able to contest this. Yeah.
I think these are engages that realistically SCR Ascendants should be able to disengage. I feel like we're either wasting our speed or we're just like not responding in time. Because a lot of the time, if you just walk back to bottom of stairway there and then walk back in with your own like pressure cycle with your shout, something like that, then you will have an advantage in the fight. But instead, we just kind of give T4T like a free axe value and they can sub off the back of that. Prenup getting closer. You are a little bit worried about going off the map here if you're Rose, but that also is just so powerful.
So strong. And the Kitsune Rush just completely stopping any momentum that SCR Ascendants might have had there. Rose running 2 players down before the flashpoint even unlocks. And I mean, we talked going into this about how good Rose looked on the first map, how good the Zarya was, and how it would probably continue to be an oppressive force, but I mean, the Queen, man, it's been just as powerful. SCR has just not had an answer.
Queen is basically just Zarya in a lot of ways, though. Like, your range is the same, your health is the same. Kind of focus around being high damage and enabling your DPS.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're just walking again. Who cares?
I mean, if you can get away with it, you can get away with it. That's a 4-man rampage.
Oh.
And, okay, that's gross. That's disgusting, Rose. That is beautiful. 1 ultimate used in that fight here.
And you'll note that it's 3% before Maloa actually had the sound barrier, so perfectly timed. If that fight went another 5 seconds, the beat would have been there. You would have ended up having that ultimate at least mirrored out, and Tommy would have had to respond. But instead, you get the 1 ult fight win, and just 1 fight away now from taking this second flashpoint.
Oh, Nen with 2 kills off the back of the Molten Core. I mean, that's another point. That's just absolutely going to be taken by T4T here. 2 ultimates burned for SCR Ascendants, and neither of them enough to even get them close to the point.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. We didn't even need the sound barrier from Tommy. We just got a little bit spooked, I think, about the annihilation coming through from Bunker, who now will be making this up to the Malga. Just woken up from a nap, you can kind of tell. Listen, you've got good tools if you're SCR. Go for a Queen dupe, then high tempo with like a sound barrier. The Tectonic shot flanking so early though.
A lot of ultimates being popped very early in the fight, including Milo's sound barrier. They are looking to take this fight very aggressively here, but all of that extra health is not on Bonker anymore. The first pick does go out onto Caffeine, but eventually Rose is going to find the counterpart tank anyway. Eric also going down means that a lot of the damage is just off the board for SCR, and eventually it will be another team wipe, despite losing out on the first player. I mean, on the tank, excuse me, not the first player.
You lost out in your Kiriko as well, I believe. Caffeine went down super early, but just a high HP advantage on the favor of T4T. Still yet to lose a fight in this series. That's the level of dominance that we've been seeing. Rose closer to another rampage, and this one, sound barrier not even close for Milo. I gotta say, this could be the beginning of the end of the Ascendants.
It kind of feels like it, especially with Eric and Milo going down so early in this fight. There is a trade back onto Panarchism, but it simply will not be enough.
Maybe.
I mean, 3 players have died on the side of T4T, make it 4. It is just Rose left on the point. So theoretically, if the Echo wins this 1v1, it could be a point flip.
Goes down.
And eventually it will be, and at long last, SCR Ascendants, they are gaining their first percentage points on this series.
But it's so damn close, right? And T4T are walking back up with their own ultimates. And you have to imagine they could just out-tempo the opposition. Pixon has to hit a tremendous cleanse here. Else Rose would be running away with essentially the map off the back of this rampage still.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no ultimate to speak of. Milo so far away from the sound barrier that would be so helpful in the face of this rampage. But speaking of sound barriers, Tommy coming up on his point, very nearly flipped in that instance, by the way. Nen's turret goes down, but the zoning is good enough to keep these players off the point. T4T is going to retake, and Bonker is going to be the first to fall victim in the fight here. Pixon's immediately also going down to the Molten Core. And I mean, we don't even need this, but it's enough. T4T, not quite a 300-0, but I mean, it sure felt like one.
I mean, they lost 1 fight and then instantly won the refight with, I'm not going to say no struggle, but they kind of just walked up, you know, pressed their buttons and they were chilling. Unfortunately, this seems like nothing more than a ceremonial effort, unfortunately. Grand Final seems essentially locked in for T4T, that rematch that you're looking for in the Grand Final matchup against Brigged Up. And SCR Ascendants just the ones they have to beat to get there. I'm kind of struggling to find, again, much to say because it's just so one-sided. They've won 1 fight, Will. They've won 1 fight.
literally one fight near the very end of Suravasa is all that SCR Ascendants have been able to scrape together. It's been rough. This is brutal. Like there are very few other words in the English language that we could use to describe how one-sided this has been. It's been rough. And I mean, this is such a tragic way for this map, for this losers bracket run that SCR Ascendants has been on to potentially end. I mean, like I pointed out earlier, like you pointed out, I should say, they lose their round 1 in winners, and then they win 3 consecutive series to get here against T4T, the number 4 seed of SCR Ascendants. They've done such a good job here. And they definitely don't want to go out with a whimper in the losers finals, but we will have to wait to see if that is what comes to pass, as we will be headed to a very brief break. And when we come back, map number 3. After some very one-sided maps that we saw at the opening of the series between SCR Ascendants and T4T, we will be headed to our third battleground of Circuit Royale. Once again, I am Getster. Joining me is Spectrion. And there's not a lot of analysis to give here. I just think that going to Circuit Royale tells me that they really want to lean into the hit scan or long range side of things, maybe even bringing a Hanzo or something like that. But I mean, it's been really, really rough for SCR Ascendants here, so I'm hoping we see signs of life.
Yes, I think the idea for SCR Ascendants has always been essentially square up to the point and then shoot the enemy team until they die. Obviously, they haven't really been allowed to. That T4T have been, playing their push pull pretty effectively, and because of that, as we mentioned before, they've only lost the one fight. Circuit Royale, the perfect map if you do want to play that extended shooting. The issue is, it's kind of the only map in the pool for it, right? So, if it works, great. You got to figure out what you're doing next, and T4T have map pick. And remember, if you do want to complete the reverse sweep, you're going to have to play against 2 map pick first bans from T4T. Terms of those bans, by the way, it's the last first ban of SCR Ascendants. The typical bans on circuit are either you want to play something brawly, so you're targeting poke heroes like Sig, Widow, Freya, Or you want to play something pokey, where you're targeting brawl heroes, you target a Ramatra, Lucio, a Mei a lot of the time. So we'll find out pretty fast the way they want to approach the game, but I have to imagine, the way they've been playing, it will be the brawl varietal. They decide to take down Lucio, eliminated. The more they can shoot, the happier they are.
Yeah, I mean, and this makes a lot of sense here. Just to not allow T4T to run them down while they're trying to play an extended poke game. But I mean, T4T do have ways around this one. Obviously, you do still have the entirety of the damage and tank roles to ban from. And I mean, if you really want to throw a wrench into this sort of thing, you could ban out the Cassidy, you could ban out the Sojourn, you could ban out the Ashe. There's a lot of heroes that are kind of linchpins in poke, especially on this map, but Ramatra will be the ban. So I mean, that's interesting to me, because obviously Ramatra very prevalent in brawl compositions, but also very capable of doing a fair bit of poke damage. I am simply wondering what both of these teams are going to be playing on tank then. Probably something similar to what we've been seeing previously. Rose on the Zarya or the Queen would not shock me. Both of these players on the Sigma. But it is interesting. We do have a substitution for SCR Ascendants. Actually, one for each team. But Cord is in to play tank for SCR, and Bluey is in to play support for T4T.
But yeah, I mean, super curious to see exactly what these changes will show us, but one has to imagine when you see tank subs on circuits, normally Sig, support sub, when we see Zen hovered, and that would be entirely valid here. And not always strong, but the Orb Discord, the opposing tank, especially on this map where you can't be flanked, but you can spam these 5 orbs down main, right? Intensely valuable. And we'll see if SCR Ascendants find that out the hard way.
I miss Zenyatta, bro. I
don't. Hey, so stupid.
I miss 2018 Zenyatta. This hero used to have swag.
You miss how you felt in 2018. The actual hero was stupid still.
Oh, no, he was stupid, but the hero had swag. Listen, I don't know how to explain it, but in the transition from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, a certain level of swag was lost. I don't know how else to explain it. I think Overwatch 2 overall is a better product. I think it plays better. I like single tank more than I like double tank. But I don't know, man. We don't have those Pine highlights anymore. We don't have those Jonak highlights anymore.
It's because people are bad. Let's be real here. That's not because the game's fundamentally changed. It's just because 2018 Overwatch League players were plumbers nowadays. Actually. Dude, watch those games back. I am saying, straight up, I could outperform Boink on Lucio. You see the man.
Oh, Boink.
It's a low bar, bruv. We see pipe clips all the time in Diamonds. So it's a different look now. It's a different time.
It's a different game. Games evolve over time. But any way you slice it, some things never change, including the prevalence of characters like Sigma and Widowmaker on Circuit Royale. Although as I talk up the Widowmaker, Marlon swaps over to the Tracer. One of those characters that historically struggled on this map, but ever since the rework has been seeing a little bit more playtime here. Cord very nearly going down to a couple of Freya bolts, but won't quite die yet. Now we're into that phase of the map.
Yeah, it's just be shooting indefinitely. Low HP for T4T means that they are going to have to find a kill sooner rather than later. Pixon's the perfect one. That's so much of your healing.
Yup. Nan finding two kills for the Torbjorn in that tiny room before eventually Marlon cuts him down. But I mean, on the bright side for SCR Ascendants, you have a pretty significant spawn advantage. You are right there, and it's going to be rather easy to get your team back into the fight here. Rose? Very, very low here. Pressure onto the back line, but forces away a recall. Does Panarchism. The Freya sticky bolts are so good at pressuring out this Tracer character, and the pulse hits the wall. Marlon not quite able to pressure out this Torbjorn, and eventually will fall to the Hammer Killer. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? Nen!
Nicely
Marlon
done,
has
Nen.
a family!
Okay, Marlon pulls from the wall, so it did feel like pretty appropriate recompense. And it's traded back Eric Rail onto Panicism. But again, traded as the Rivet Gun so powerful. Nen drops low, the lamp is there, the Discord Orb, however, onto Icordi is powerful. The Flux drop, the Terror Surge does get value. We are trading back and forth. T4T still the ones with control of the point, but that may not last forever as the Valkyrie from Milo going to empower their team surely to greatness. Car is at least beginning to move for the 5-4-1 to Eric. Again, puts the brakes on the momentum. The closest spawn still for SCR Ascendants. Have to power them, but oh! Great pick on to the opposing Freya. Milo doesn't want to res.
Yeah, I don't hate the decision to just hold your ground and not quite res that one. I mean, there are other teammates who need to be kept alive. Unfortunately, Cord will not be kept alive for very long, so this is a fall back for the side of SCR Ascendants here, and they need to find some momentum very soon. Otherwise, this goes real south real quick. Cord has swapped over to that Sigma, so it's going to be a mirror match on the tank line.
Where's Rose got this Flux from? I swear she used it last fight. But cool. We'll see how it works as Nen's getting involved on the Torbjorn. Trying to play this side angle as people begin to walk up past them. Panicism tries for a double bolt, won't connect, but the engages through.
What? Okay. 2 players just go down to Nen's Molten Core, and then another down to the turret. That's nearly an ace for Nen. And he'll get
the
it.
ace.
That's the ace. Torbjorn ace. Big 25.
I don't really have anything to say about that. It's kind of goofy. Panicus is way too deep. Not punished, however. That's how you're supposed to heal a Freya Bolt. SCR Ascendants 4 ults, it's everything but the Flux. However, T4T, the same could be said with the addendum of having that additional tool. Rock. Oh, that's juicy.
Beautiful usage of the accretion to completely shut down that overclock. And I mean, Eric gets revived, but you really are wanting that ult back. 10 seconds now remaining for the side of SCR Ascendants, and they finally have a pick here. Bluey on the Zenyatta does go down, but they do need to find a way to get in and touch this point. Marlon has to sacrifice himself to make it in, but it won't be enough. The remaining players on SCR Ascendants simply cannot get it done. A full hold on Circuit Royale. Is this how the losers bracket run of a lifetime is gonna end, Isaac?
If I were a betting man, I would be probably investing my life savings into it.
You
Let's
are
be real here. Okay, but don't tell them that.
I mean, that's
Just hammer kill. I've got PTSD from hammer kills. That was a nice one though from then, I have to say. Recognizing the traits will be walking through the doorway. And then just like pre-firing the doorway, essentially. It's a nice idea. Lovely rock, by the way, from Rose. Really showing mechanical dominance on the SIG.
Yeah, that rock was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Oh, T4T powerful roster, I gotta say. And they're at the point now where they've got 4 minutes to go and like sub 60 meters. They can do whatever the hell they want. They could run out on Ryan, Mercy, Weaver, and I'd be like, why not at this point? You know, like... It don't matter anymore. You take a look at the stat line. There's nothing positive to say about it. Rose got 7k damage. That's a 2.5k gap on basically everybody else. Everybody negative, of course, on the side of SCR Ascendants. Rose and Tommy, of course, yet to die. Nen the highest death, but also the highest aura. So,
true.
You know, I think they'll live. Rose on the Hog. Far Mercy Hog. This comp was invented in a laboratory to be as cringe as humanly possible. See how it works out.
Yeah, that is one evil laboratory. I don't think I want to visit.
Doofenshmirtz, bro.
Doofenshmirtz, but like from across the second dimension, like the actually evil one who's competent, you know.
Anyway, Rose gets obliterated because Hulk is fake hero, but Nen able to find pressure on the backline. Panicism connects the rocket to an overextended Symmetra. This one's cooked, folks. Even if Panicism insists on eating this, please stop, shoot the turret. Please shoot the turret. Okay.
Or don't and get shot. Get domed.
It's a long day here, William.
Yeah, it's been a short one, but it's felt like an eternity, you know? Like sometimes you cast a series that's losers finals of an EU Masters division, and you're like, yeah, this should be really good, and then you remember you're Gedster and you're cursed. You can't cast good matches. There's one-sided sweeps, but even then, the last map of the day, the winning team might go Roadhog and troll for a little bit. But
What is he doing?
what is happening right now? Bluey
Rose just
does
drops
go
off
down.
high ground.
The res rolls through from Tommy, but Cord chases the Mercy down up the stairs. Eric hitting some very nice shots onto Nen as well, and that's going to be another one fight to the side of SCR Ascendants. Surely no kills roll through here for the side of T4T, as all of SCR stays alive for yet another fight here. We cannot be serious right now.
I don't know what's on my screen, but it should be illegal. Whatever it is, like, we need to pass laws against this immediately. The European Union has to convene all of its member states, the Security Council, right?
Dude.
And fix this. Whatever
Dude,
this
not-
is.
Dude, I don't even know about the EU. We just need the UN on this. Like, everybody. We need everybody to have an opinion on this one. Nen finds 2 picks out of nowhere. Eric and Pixon's completely
Ew.
gone, and that is finally the series over. 5 players down, and nobody left to stop the tide as T4T will take this losers finals, booking their spot in Grands, and it frankly wasn't even close.
I mean, they played Ryan Ilari to cap out the map. I don't think there's a more telling microcosm of how the series went, realistically, other than that. T4T came, saw, dicked around for good measure, and then conquered after that. At no point during the series, unfortunately, was it close. You can count the fight wins that SCR Ascendants had on a single hand. I don't know. It's brutal. It's brutal. I'm not sure if it's an underperformance on the day or whether it's simply that T4T are that far above every other team in Master Division, bar Brigged Up. But they are still yet to drop a map, I believe, other than to that aforementioned roster. So unfortunately, the skill gap is being a little bit too wide, and because of that, the Ascendants kind of got smoked.
Yeah, it was...
Still, it's just a great lower bracket run from them. One has to say,
Oh,
you know, it does have to be stated. They made it very, very far. 3rd place, a very respectable finish. Unfortunately, could not close out in the end. And I think what they remember from WoW might not be the run, but the rather succinct end to it.
Yeah. And it is always unfortunate
That
to,
was so
you know,
bad, bro.
go out in a method like that, but being able to say you made that loser's run and it was as impressive as it was, especially after going down so early to a 3-0, bouncing back, and then as the 4th seed, making it all the way to top 3. I mean, it's impressive stuff for SCR Ascendants, and we would be remiss to say anything other than that. But their performance today was less than impressive. Literally not taking a single point on any of these maps. The T4T, I mean, they were simply... To say they were the better team today would be an understatement.
Yeah. It's also a true statement in the most literal sense of the word. They were better. They did kind of cruise, but, you know, if we were trying to be a little more emotive about it, we could say they dominated, we could say they spanked them, we could say they absolutely crushed their souls. We talked about having to keep your mental up. I can't imagine the SCR Ascendants did. It's nothing to feel good about. In the wise words of a wise man, ain't nothing to be happy about. Take a look at the bans one more time, and unfortunately, SCR Ascendants bans are pretty short-sighted, in my opinion. Again, we see the Venture and the Reaper ban rather than a Zar target to, you know, hurt them. The Lucio ban, the best idea they had, but unfortunately, way too little, too late.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate way to go out for sure, but I mean, this has been a Debbie Downer ending part of the broadcast, I should say. Congrats to T4T. I mean, booking your ticket back into the grand final, it's got to feel so good after getting swept by Brigged Up to be able to come out and say to the world, we're still here, we're still ready to play, and we are not going down quietly. These grand finals, I am very, very excited for.
Yeah. But before we get to the grand finals, we're going to go to an interview. So a short break, just a minute or two, while we get that set up with one of our victorious winners.
T4T absolutely dominated their losers finals match today, and as a result, we've got a couple of their players here in the call for an interview with us. So please, everybody, welcome Rose and Tommy, the tank and support players for the side of T4T. How are the two of you feeling after that phenomenal performance?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I wasn't expecting it to be this dominant over Frio, but I guess we just move and we'll see how we do against Picked Up in the finals. Surely fourth time's the charm, right?
Yep, it went pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll take those for sure, for sure. Real quick, Tommy, I did notice during that game, I believe it was you playing the Lucio on Suravasa and Li Zhang. I saw that Infernal skin. Big fan. Big ups.
Oh yeah, since day one. Pick up the
You get
Infernal
me.
Infusion.
You get me. You get me. I brought my Philadelphia Fusion flag to Stockholm to get as many former Fusion players to sign it as I could, and I only got 3 of them. So.
Only 3.
Oh,
Oh, cry river, mate. But no, I will say, obviously, pretty one-sided game. I know you guys mentioned in the green room, you guys maybe didn't expect it to be that close. I guess what was the difference between the expectation and reality? Did you think?
I
Yeah,
I
you
would
think
say
so.
that it's always the Nen factor. That guy is crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Honestly, yeah, fair.
Just
High impact on the Torbjorn. I'd also say, I don't know. So in the end, I believe you guys lost 4 fights in the series. Can you think back to any problems you had on them other than just being out ulted, or do you think at some points you were getting sloppy?
We might have been on a combination of Hog, Mercy, Farah, and then
Maybe,
some other
just
picks.
maybe.
That might have had a little bit to do with it, but I'm gonna be really honest, and no offense obviously to the enemies, but I stopped fight planning after map 1. I don't think our comm structure existed, like, for the majority of this match. I'm gonna be so for real.
Hey, honestly, if it works, it works. You can get over the line. If you can get over the line, then that's all that matters. And you guys did absolutely get over the line, but that has earned you a spot in the grand finals against Brigged Up, who previously sent you down to losers in a 3-0 fashion. Are you feeling any better about the grand finals matchup this time around?
I mean, there's a patch tomorrow, so
That's
we'll
true.
see. We'll see if that shakes things up. But honestly, at this point, I myself, at least, am like decent friends with most of the people on that roster, so it's pretty chill. We're just gonna have fun, play for fun. Hopefully, we can scrape out a couple maps this time, maybe win. But I'm not too fussed about it. If we win, we win. If we lose, it happens. We're just here to have fun and have a good time. It's a game after all,
Yeah. I think we 3-0 though.
4-0, dog.
4-0.
It's a
4-0.
That's phenomenal. Cannot wait to see that grand final whenever it happens. And last thing before we let you get out of here and begin planning for the final battle, but is there anybody you would like to shout out at this time?
Tommy, you wanna go first?
I think big shout outs to our like substitutes. They've been really big on like during the tournament for us. Also, shout out to Mom.
Big
That's it.
ups. Big ups. Big ups.
Then for me, I want to give a quick shout out to Nen because we pulled this guy out of internet hell and the retirement home, which is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I'm just really proud of my entire team for sticking together, and just playing well and just trying to have fun as much as we can.
As you should. You guys have been playing phenomenally well, and I cannot wait to see how you guys do in the grand finals. But that is it for our interview. Thank you two so much for coming in here. Once again, best of luck in the final match of your CGL Season 16, and have a good rest of your day.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Okay.
All right. And just like that, our broadcast is over. Maybe a little bit quicker than we might have anticipated. But yeah, it's
Hour
over
from
and done.
live time to end.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Clean.
We'll take it. Simple, easy, no problems whatsoever. We'll take it.
That was a strange one.
was.
Obviously, thanks to everyone who did the production. Thanks to me for being here. Thanks to Gedster for putting up with me. Yeah, just call it a day. Obviously, do we have any other games today, or is it just a couple that are not scheduled yet?
I'm not sure if we have any other games today.
Just this one for today. This is the only game for today, but we are in the final week of CGL playoffs, so make sure you're still following CGL 1, especially because we will be finishing off Season 16 this week. So pay attention to that, and we'll see you next time.
And make sure you sign up for Season 17.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.